Hello and welcome once again to In Depth, where we look at stories from a wider perspective. Now, amidst the rising COVID-19 cases in the country's financial capital, Mumbai's famous Ganpati Mandal, Lal Bagh Raja, may have set an example by announcing his decision not to celebrate the Ganpati festival this year. But the decision hasn't gone well with the Brihan Mumbai Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav Samanvay Samiti, the umbrella organization of all the Ganesh Mandals in Mumbai. Well, the body has welcomed the decision of Lal Bagh Raja Mandal. They still want them to consider bringing a small Ganpati idol and not break the tradition. Today, on this in-depth show, we are going to look at how festivals are having to change in Corona times. And we are starting with Mumbai's famous Ganesh Chaturthi festival that is to be held next month in August. And we are starting with Lal Bagh Raja, which has not just broken with tradition, but is also setting a new benchmark by saying that they will use these 10 days of Ganesh Chaturthi to organize blood donation and plasma camps instead. Saurabh Vakhtania tells you just why Lal Bagh Raja has such an important place in Mumbai's iconography.
Mumbai's famous Lal Bagh Raja. Every year, thousands flock to the iconic pandal from across the length and breadth of the country to catch a glimpse of Ganpati. Attendees include Bollywood bigwigs, netas and other VIPs. But this year, it won't be the same. Amid the pandemic, for the first time in 87 years, there would be no idol of the Ganpati during the festival.
यहाँ लाल बाग का राजा ये लाखों करोड़ों भाविकों का श्रद्धा स्थान है, उसको मद्देनजर रखते हुए भाविक यहाँ आके संसर्गित ना हो जाए, इसलिए हम लोगों ने ये निर्णय इस साल में लिया है कि लाल बाग के राजा की मूर्ति की प्रतिष्ठापना ये साल में नहीं करेंगे, देश के हित में ये निर्णय होगा.
The decision, however, did not go down well with the umbrella organization of all Ganesh Mandals in Mumbai. The organization has now written to the Lal Bagh Raja Mandal asking for a reconsideration of its decision to do away with the celebration and not break the tradition.
अभी आप देखेंगे कि महाराष्ट्र के गणेश मूर्ति 4 फीट के ऊपर नहीं होंगे. सभी गणेश मंडल को मैं अपील करता हूँ, समन्वय समिति का अध्यक्ष ये नाते, कि हिंदू धर्म में भाद्रपद में ये उत्सव, इस साल हम लोग भाद्रपद में ही उत्सव मनाएंगे. किसी तरह हमारी परंपरा खंडित नहीं होने मांगते हैं.
Lal Bagh Raja Mandal has instead decided to lend a helping hand to the city in the middle of the worst health crisis it ever witnessed. The committee will set up a blood donation and plasma donation camp that will run for 10 days. The organizers will also run a campaign asking people to come forward and donate blood. The committee will donate 25 lakh rupees to the CM Relief Fund and honor brave jawans who lost their lives on the borders.
चाइना बॉर्डर जहाँ गलवान कोने में जो शुरू है, आज जो 20 शहीद जो हुए हैं, उनके जो कुटुंब है, उनके वीर पत्नी, वीर माता, उनके लिए भी लाल बाग का राजा प्रति स्नेह व्यक्त करते हैं. उनके भी जब कुटुंब है, उनका यहाँ सम्मान हम लोग करने जा रहे हैं.
Meanwhile, another famous Ganpati Mandal from Mumbai, GSB Sion, which is also the wealthiest mandal of the city, wants a special relaxation to be given to them. They say they cannot reduce the height of Ganpati because their idol is the actual size of Ganesh, who is believed to be 12 feet tall.
हमें सरकार से यही विनती करते हैं कि हमारे लिए सरकार थोड़ी सी छूट दिया जाए, क्योंकि हमारी जो गणपति की मूर्ति है हर साल हम वही पंडाल में ही बनाते हैं. और इस साल कमेटी ने निर्धार किया है कि एक जो मूर्ति है हम हमारे पंडाल में ही हमारे आर्टिफिशियल एक पॉन्ड बनाकर हम वहीं विसर्जन करने वाले हैं. कोई भाविकों को यहाँ पे पंडाल में एंट्री दिया नहीं जाएगा. सभी सरकार के नियमों के अनुसार सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग जो नॉर्म्स है और जो मास्क वगैरह है वो सभी हम पालन करते हैं.
With barely 2 months left for the festival, it will be interesting to see what rules Ganpati Mandals follow and how the festival will be celebrated.
So how will Ganesh Chaturthi be celebrated this year is one big question. Remember, if festivals are going to be pared down in COVID times, the fate of hundreds of idol makers is also hanging by a precarious thread. India Today's Vidya now brings you this report, how Mumbai's Ganpati idol makers are faring this season. Take a look.
29-year-old Prashant Ogale has been making Ganpati idols professionally since 2006. In the past few years, the month of July would see this workshop bustling with activity. But 2020 saw the COVID pandemic bring Ogale's business to a grinding halt.
ऑर्डर्स बहुत कम, मतलब एकदम ना के बराबर ऑर्डर्स हो रहे हैं अभी. कस्टमर ही नहीं आ रहे क्योंकि लोगों को आने जाने की दिक्कतें हो रही है, इसके लिए कस्टमर नहीं आ रहे. अपने रतन टाटा जी ने बताया था कि 2020 खाली जीने के लिए, वही हम सोच के यही लगा रहे. मार्जिन नहीं कमाएंगे लेकिन ये तो हो जाए, कम से कम लेवल सेवल आ जाए.
ये टाइम पे सोच क्या है कि घर के घर में कैसे विसर्जन हो वो, क्योंकि क्या समंदर में भी जाएंगे तो भी 1 से 2 लोग ही अलाउड रहेंगे.
According to idol makers like Ogale, business is down to just 25% of what it used to be.
गवर्नमेंट ने उसमें बैन लगाया, 4 फुट के ऊपर मूर्ति बनाने का नहीं. हमने गवर्नमेंट का आदेश मान लिया है, लेकिन अभी तक गवर्नमेंट ने अपने को परमिशन तो दिया नहीं. हमने ऑर्डर ले चुका है, लेकिन कस्टमर का ऑर्डर कैसा देने का हम सोच रहे हैं अभी.
Idol makers saw their stock perish when cyclone Nisarga hit the western coast.
पत्थर का बादल आया, उसके बीच में हमारा 350 मूर्ति पे पानी हो गया, मतलब पूरी हो गई है, पानी के सरीके हो गई मूर्ति 350.
I'm right now in Chinchpokli area of Mumbai, and this particular area that you see behind me, this entire empty piece of land where cars are parked right now, used to always see wherein there were large canopies right before the rains that used to be built up, and workers, idol makers used to sit here, make idols, huge idols of Ganpati that used to be made every time, every year. But this time around, all that has just gone by.
For the idol makers in Mumbai, the denial of permission this year to open roadside workshops also added to their woes. While Ganpati Utsav business in 2020 is really down, the devotees of the elephant-headed god are praying that the crisis may soon pass.
So what does this mean for communities if festivals are going to have to transform themselves in Corona times? I'm joined by arguably the country's finest sociologist, Professor Dipankar Gupta joins me. Professor Gupta, here you've got Ganesh Chaturthi, the heart in a way of Mumbai, of Maharashtrian culture. Lal Bagh Raja saying this year there will be no Ganesh festivities. What does that mean? What does that suggest? How difficult do you believe it is for communities to accept that in the age of Corona, you cannot organize these mass festivals anymore in a country like India?
Well, I think people will find it very difficult, but they'll have to sort of gulp it because there's no alternative. But this is not a long-term solution. It cannot be, because religion, as you know, does perform some very important social functions, the most significant being bringing people together. And in an urban setting, this is very, very necessary. Because as you know, Hinduism, unlike Islam or Christianity or even Sikhism, doesn't really have a Sangat or a communion. It is gatherings like Ganpati, like Durga Puja, that bring people together. And these are, phenomena that cannot be overruled for too long. It's okay, it happened this year, we'll have to suck it up. But I don't think this is a long-term lasting solution. As you know, most of the cults that we see in India, the Hindu cults in particular, are of very recent origin when people began to come to urban India and feel kind of rootless. Because most of these cults, in fact, if not all of these cults, are actually urban in character. So, you have Ganpati, you have Durga Puja, the origin of these things is very, very urban. And they fulfilled a very pressing need. That is, people wanted to connect. And if you do not connect, you can't have social norms that can be revived and constantly kept in play. So I believe that, this is something which is very, very extraordinary. Every society needs to have compensatory mechanisms if certain institutions fall by the wayside. I can't think of a compensatory mechanism if the entire society gets put on the wayside.
So, the fact is, are you telling me that social behavior will eventually return to normal, or that eventually people will necessarily insist on mass festivals with no social distancing, that COVID in a sense is only a brief interregnum? Human behavior, social behavior in a country like India, where religion and religious festivals play such a big part, cannot change overnight.
No, it can't change overnight. I don't think it'll happen that way. I hope not, at least. But if it does, then I think that there'll be several social consequences we must watch out for. Firstly, of course, is that who is going to maintain social norms and social cohesion? It is religion, it is sports, it's people coming together in coffee shops and places like that keep our social ties active and together. It's also what prevents people from committing, shall we say, antisocial acts. We may not quite see it that way, but that's the unintended consequence of such gatherings. Now, if you don't have them, then what are the kind of social compensatory mechanisms you have in place other than complete state control? In other words, what we're doing is to exchange the soft power of everyday social customs and norms for the hard power of the state. And that is not a very happy conclusion.
The fact, though, is that presumably religious festivals, Professor Gupta, can't go online. You beyond a point, you can't do viral puja. You want that physical contact of being there in Lal Bagh, being there in front of the Ganesh Mandal, in front of the idol. Do you sense, though, that maybe perhaps people will find other ways of celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi, or indeed Durga Puja or Diwali this year? Can you conceive a possible situation where people go back to maybe small community gatherings? Is that at all possible, that the era of the mass festival may have to take a back seat?
Look, Durga Puja was for many, many years, centuries in fact, performed in homes of rich people. Till, of course, in Guptipara, they moved on from the homes of rich people to a gang of 12, and then it became a Sarvajanik affair. Likewise with Ganesh Chaturthi. So many of these festivals were earlier, observed in enclaves, and then with the pressure of urbanization, they grew into becoming community festivals. So yes, of course, Hinduism, you can sit at home and do the Diwali and the Durga Puja and so on and so forth, but it's not the same thing. People have to be together, and it's the togetherness that has changed the character of festivals in contemporary India, at least the past 100 years, quite radically. For example, the Kavariyas. The Kavariyas was a very minor affair till about the 1980s. But again, the pressure of urbanization forced people or compelled people to seek communion. And that's why the Kavariyas kept growing in size, over the years. The same thing with the various Jagrans. The Jagrans were nothing. Then partition came, and those who came from West Pakistan felt rootless, and Jagrans was a way of combining and bonding. So what I'm trying to say is that yes, you can do your Saraswati Puja at home, you can do a Ganesh Puja at home like you do most of the time, but there are some calendrical events that get people together. Sure. And that coming together is something that is being sort of forced upon people in urban India. And if we don't have it, then urban India will have a vacuum which will be very hard to fill.
The fact is, for example, the Sarvajanik Ganesh Chaturthi, or these mass gatherings, started with Tilak at the end of the 19th century. He used it to
1892 or something.
Yeah, he used it to evoke a nationalist fervor, but now it's part of an economy. There's a huge economy around these festivals, whether it's Durga Puja, whether it's Ganesh Chaturthi or Diwali. Therefore, the interests presumably are much wider now than ever before.
Yeah, but those are spin-offs, Rajdeep. I don't think that that's something that we think of, as a central feature. Sure, they're very, very important. But what really bothers me the most is that if people lose out the sense of communion, then there'll be a big problem, because in Hinduism, you don't have a communion, unlike Islam and Christianity and even the Sikh Sangats. And this communion is what Hinduism needs in urban India. In the villages, it was fine. You had a caste, you had your kinship, you had the relations, you had the uncle and nephew. But here it is very different. Urban India, you're actually rootless. You need somebody, you need some phenomenon to bind you together.
Right.
And religious gatherings, this sort were very, very important because they filled in that particular need that Hinduism could not in its original state.
Dipankar Gupta, as always, profound. I appreciate your joining us and reminding us of the communion spirit that religious festivals like Ganesh Chaturthi inculcate and spread. Thanks very much, Dr. Gupta, for joining me on In Depth. Let's take a break. On the other side of the show, the story of the idol makers of Kolkata, who are also staring at a bleak future in COVID times. And we'll tell you of other festivals that have gone by quietly. You're looking at this special. Welcome back once again to In Depth. Let's turn now to Kolkata and Durga Puja. It's still about 3.5 months away. The pandemic has already hit the celebrations. Every year by this time, Durga Puja committees would already be planning the size and design of pandals and idols. And the idol makers would have already received their orders for the bigger size ones. But this year, things are very different. Let's take a look at Durga Puja in this special of festivals in COVID times.
Around this time of the year, the idol makers at Kumartuli in Kolkata are usually gearing up for Durga Puja in the month of October.
इस टाइम पे हम लोगों को यहाँ पर फुल फ्लेज में काम होता था क्योंकि पूरा स्ट्रक्चर रेडी करके कुछ कंप्लीट करके गोडाउन में उसको शिफ्ट कर दिया जाता था मगर अभी ये सब एकदम बंद है.
The colossal idols, sometimes going up to 70 to 80 feet, have to be constructed well in advance. Some of them are even exported to European and American countries for Bengali communities living there.
Now there is barely any time left for the shipment of this idol because the idol shipment takes at least 3 months to reach to the North American or the European destinations.
With the shutting of global trade and ships movement, along with temporary halt of work due to lockdown in India, artists see deadlines approaching soon with no progress.
Now, Indian festivals have always followed the motto, bigger the better. Each year the idols grow taller, crowds are bigger and the festivals expand. But 2020 is a year like no other. Celebrations in the foreseeable future stand curtailed, minimalized for the fear of the spread of the coronavirus. The lockdown, the sluggish economy have all contributed to dampen festive spirits, not just in the upcoming season, but even in the ones that have quietly passed by.
As the country stayed locked in, this year's Eid ul-Fitr saw a strange sight. Delhi's iconic Jama Masjid stood empty, bereft of festive crowds. A sight incomprehensible when compared to any other year in the past.
जो सरकार की गाइडलाइन है और जो हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट की जो गाइडलाइन है हम बहुत ही सख्ती से उस पर अमल कर रहे हैं और लोगों को ताकीद कर रहे हैं और बराबर सबसे कह रहे हैं कि अगर आपको ज़्यादा ज़रूरत ना हो आप घर में ही रहो.
The vibrancy, excitement and glitter of an Indian festival is a defining trait of life in the subcontinent. But the last few months have seen a massive disruption in the country's socio-cultural festival calendar. From a quiet, subdued Ramzan,
स्पेशल आइटम सर रमजान में तो बहुत सारी आती हैं सर, इस बार कुछ भी नहीं है.
to a dull Akshaya Tritiya. The coronavirus pandemic and lockdown ensured festivals remained a lackluster event across the country. Because social distancing is discordant with the idea of a festival, because all religious places were ordered shut and all religious congregations banned. As the restrictions eased, some religious ceremonies did take place, albeit a minimalist version of the norm. The Supreme Court did permit a smaller, controlled version of the annual Rath Yatra in Puri. The decision came after permission was initially denied. End of July will witness another Eid. Muslims across the world will celebrate Eid al-Adha. The celebrations are marked by a sacrifice, usually of a fattened goat, giving the festival the moniker Bakra Eid.
So here at Fateh Puri Masjid, to follow the social distancing, these marks have been made out here. Usually, while offering the prayer, what is believed to be that people should be standing very close with joining their shoulders with each other. But now, since it has changed completely, a drastic change in all the rituals and offering prayer, the social distancing is something very must. To offer wuzu, that's a makeshift pond here in the Fateh Puri Masjid, which is now completely sealed.
कोविड-19 के बाद कोई भी मजलिस ऐसी नहीं हुई जो ट्रेडिशनल मजलिसें होती थी, चाहे वो समाजी हो, चाहे वो मजहबी हो या और कोई भी।
बकरे ईद होती थी तो जो गोश्त था वो बांटना होता था अपने रिलेटिव्स में, तो क्योंकि ट्रैवल पे रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं, मूवमेंट पे रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं, तो वो भी मुतासिर होंगे। उसकी वजह से जो है लोग, मुझे नहीं लगता कुर्बानियाँ कर पाएंगे उतनी।
10 घरों पे जाना पड़ता है, अब पता नहीं किस घर में क्या है, क्योंकि इस टाइम भी कोरोना मरीज की पेशेंट्स की तादाद बढ़ रही है। सो उस वजह से तो एहतियात तो करना ही पड़ेगा ना, तो वैसे हम नहीं जा पाएंगे जैसे रिश्तेदारों के यहाँ जाया करते थे।
ओवरऑल में बिजनेस तो कुछ भी नहीं है।
Whether people choose to celebrate in their individual homes is yet to be seen. But what's evidently clear is that the glitter, shine, cheer and bustle of an Indian festival won't be the same. At least, not this year.
That's it on this special in-depth show. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Stay well, stay safe.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.